Hey everybody. Back at the what's the word I want to use? Uh, my base of operations. I'm back at my base of operations. I don't know if you can hear in the background, but there's a whole pack of tiny dogs barking, and this happens like periodically throughout the week. They go on a rampage. But anyways, what I'm doing, I got a new saw. I took the saw that I had and I took it back, and I got this cheap one. And got another pack of batteries because they only gave me store credit. So, believe it or not, this cheap one, other than being not as size effective, it's better than the more expensive one. There's the angle grinder, and I had a whole plan on how to make a handle for it. Like, I got all these parts and stuff, and I got the wrong size bolt for the main piece, so I ain't doing that. I'm going to cut this pipe to about that long. I didn't really measure it. I'm going to use the angle grinder and cut that and take off about 6, 7, maybe 8 inches, and take that, and that'll be ground out for that. And then I'm going to discharge this fire extinguisher, and I'm going to cut it in half and make my crucible. And I found this, and someone threw this away. Not the backpack, the wire. I'm gonna go and take it and strip it and get a couple bucks for it while I'm at it. And I'm just taking a walk, so I figured it wasn't gonna kill me to pick it up. And then there's this. I'm gonna cut it and cut my hole in it for the pipe. Which I have to mark that off. Oh, and see that piece of black stuff there? It's a piece of cardboard. I'm gonna wrap it into a circle and make a 7-inch diameter hole, or a 7-inch diameter like cylinder, so I can finally cast my Foundry. So things are looking good. So let me get some stuff in order and find a nice place for the camera, and we'll start angle grinding. Well, it's absolutely not perfect, but for working with what I got, it looks pretty good. Yum. Well, that was a bigger mess than I expected. Now see, I have seen people spray those into pillowcases before, and that didn't happen, but okay, it's fine. Got a little on my pants, but it's not toxic, I don't think, so it's whatever. So keep all the pieces of the fire extinguisher because it's all aluminum almost. The gaskets could be rubber, but most of it's aluminum. So keep all that and Shazam. I only made a little bit of a mess. Alright, I'm gonna try the handsaw. Apparently the angle grinder isn't really scratching it. I need a better cutting disc. Did fine for copper and brass and wood, but it ain't handling the steel. Hey, so an hour and a half to 2 hours and 2 pee breaks and a drink later, and I handsawed it to death. This one I'm gonna wait for the angle grinder because it's like 3 times as thick. You might be saying I made it a little long, but that's the point. Like, and I plan to have it about yay thick, so this should come up to about here. And that's where I'm cutting the bucket off at, so I figured the cylinder will hold the maximum amount that way. So I accomplished something today. So I shot a whole video on me making these coat hanger Foundry tools, but it was too dark and it was just me twisting wire, so I scrapped it and decided to show it off when it's done. Really, I mean, coat hangers are made of like galvanized tin or galvanized iron or steel, so the only bad part is it's galvanized and you're not supposed to breathe in zinc fumes, but I'm only using it to take the crucible out, so, and I'm going to be doing it outside, so it should be ventilated enough, it won't be a problem. That's the tipper hook, and once I get the bolt in the crucible itself, I made this to pull it out with. So once I get the bolt in the crucible, the Frankenstein bolts, I'll be able to do that. Now the pipe, I shot a video on this too, but I managed to get it cut. I made a deal with a neighbor. I had him I asked him to cut it for me using his Sawzall, and I gave him that extension cord with the copper, like a little trade-off. So, you know, that'll, so I got my job done and he makes a little bit of money. Plus it was difficult anyway. I needed some wire for a project, but I'll get it somewhere else. Here's my handle I made. I'm gonna see how it holds up today. Alright, we're gonna find out if the angle cutter is good enough for this job. fire brick. That's what that is, a fire brick. So it's like styrofoam, so it's really easy to cut. So I plan to wreck my brand new hacksaw blade, and I'm going to cut along that divot, if you can see it there, scratching it with a screwdriver, and I'm going to use it for my plinth and to form the inside of that there piece of cardboard. It's going to go in there, which I'm going to pour the refractory in, but this is still all for the prep. I think the actual Foundry build is going to be on New Year's Day. I think that sounds like a good idea. And I got the hole cut. That was far more complicated than I planned it to be. I've got to figure out how to clean up those marks so I don't rip it, but the pipe fits nice, and it goes at a decent angle, and it should be high enough off the bottom. Plus I'm going to have a little ravine in there to catch any metal if the crucible fails, because fire extinguishers ain't the best. But alright, I'll get back to you when it's done. Alright, so you can see that's the general idea. That's the plinth. I'll dump refractory mix around the little divots in there, the spaces that ain't filled in, and I'll dump it in the sides. And there's the blower pipe, and that's pretty much it. The only thing I got to do is I think I want to cut it off at this line here, so it's a little shorter, and then either turn this into a lid or find something else for a lid that'll go on top. And I have another piece I want to put on, but it's going to be for a seal at the top, for try to keep as much heat in as possible. I figure a 2.5 inch thick wall and a nice lid, I should be able to get as high as copper. I don't care if I can melt iron, because who casts iron anyway? So I'm gonna. It's kind of what I got going on. It's a job well done. Only thing I didn't accomplish today was I didn't get my Frankenstein bolts in there, but I guess it's not a big deal. So I'll work on it a little bit later. But here's the mess. Check this out. That's the offcuts from the bricks. My saw is very mad at me. They cut real easy, but they're rough on blades, because they're a fine powder, but they're more abrasive than most metals, I guess. So it wears down an edge pretty quick. And I got my Foundry tools pretty much done. All I need is a draw scooper, my handle for my grinder, which isn't the greatest, but under consideration. I mean, considering I made it myself out of stuff I found around the house, I'm pretty happy with it. My fire brick plinth is in there. I had about 1 inch to refractory to the bottom, I guess, maybe a little more. I ain't gonna bring it all the way up because I want there to be a trench around it, so if the metal spills out, there's somewhere to go, other than my hairdryer. So, making charcoal and making the Frankenstein bolts are the two next projects, I guess. Oh yeah, I don't want to make an alcohol stove, but I got the stuff for it. I just been lazy. All right, well that's it for the prep. Everything that's left is pretty tedious, so I'll just throw it in the Foundry build video at the end. So this video will be going up soon. And once again, thanks to everyone for watching, and any tips to make things better, let me know.